As alliances changed, betrayals intensified, and Kanan continued to evolve into the vicious character fans are familiar with from the first Power, this week's episode of Power Book 3, Raising Kanan continued to build toward an explosive endgame. Rock and Marvin were still coping with the consequences of the enigmatic box that showed up at the end of the previous week's episode as the episode began. Rock advised Marvin to go cautiously and refrain from acting hastily rather than panicking. This advice proved crucial as Stefano's pressure increased. Additionally, Stefano had a face-to-face meeting with Kanan, during which they talked about Rack's abortive plot to have Stefano killed. Everyone involved became even more suspicious as soon as Pino learned about the meeting. Later, Stefano made his objectives even more apparent by giving Breeze the order to interfere with Rock's operation, which led to another unavoidable conflict. The much-anticipated altercation between Marvin and Kanan was the episode's high point. Marvin followed Rock's instructions to target one of Kanan's biker pals in order to convey a message, which he did by colliding with one of them. After killing the biker herself, Rock informed Marvin that Kanan was to blame for Lou's demise. The violent altercation between the uncle and nephew felt like the punishment Kanan had been evading for a very long time. The fight felt earned because even Primo had earlier thought Kanan needed someone to check him. Kanan's personality is still changing in strange ways. Kanan hardly responded when Jukebox told him about Detective Garcia's inquiry into Famous's death. When he found out that Famous had been killed in the previous season, he sobbed. The fact that he now brushes the topic off emotionlessly shows how much he has evolved during the series. After Detective Garcia sought the remaining amount Jukebox owed him and threatened to take action if she didn't pay, Jukebox had her own issues. In the end, Marvin intervened and assisted her in paying the loan. Jukebox only knew what was already known about Famous's murder, but he hoped Garcia had new information. Over the course of the episode, Breeze's power over Kanan grew. He and Kanan viciously attacked and almost killed a supplier who had disrespected Breeze, and they subsequently made light of the incident at a diner. They talked about how Defcon might have been Snaps's nephew and Breeze's son. Additionally, according to Breeze, Rack killed Defcon and took his company. Based on what has already been established in the series, such revelation does not fully make sense. Rack was introduced to the drug game by High Post in the 1985 flashback of the premiere, which made Breeze's account of events hard to believe. Either the story is drastically altering previously established continuity, or Breeze is deceiving Kanan with misleading information. A deeper look into Breeze's abode, which was first shown in the original series, was also provided to devoted Power viewers in this episode. The callback served as a wonderful link between the two shows. However, I'm not entirely certain if it's the same one where Ghost killed Breeze later. One of the best aspects of the season remained Marvin's personal narrative. There were a few awkward but amusing moments when Flossie confronted him about patrons dying while he was in charge, including Marvin's comical mispronunciation of barista. He gladly accepted Flossie's invitation to go to a function as her +1. She also related the tragic tale of her daughter's passing, disclosing that the perpetrator only got probation due to a costly attorney before passing away a year later, after falling over train tracks while intoxicated. Marvin also got in touch with the young girl involved in a previous case. She acknowledged that she had talked to the police and that she was afraid of being removed from her new family if she disclosed the truth. It served as just another reminder that Marvin has developed into one of the show's most nuanced and sympathetic characters. Another turning point occurred in Kanan and Jarita's relationship. Because she truly desired a true relationship, she refused to take money from him anymore. Although Jarita is still unaware that Kanan planned the whole thing, they discuss the escort Kanan had hired to drug the judge. As Breeze and Kanan arrived at a boxing event, the episode ended with yet another horrifying act of violence. They killed Joaquin and his bodyguard in a scene that gave the impression that Fightland had arrived early, leaving the hour on a vicious cliffhanger. James Brown's The Payback, a natural choice for an episode focused on retaliation, shifting allegiances, and consequences eventually catching up with multiple individuals, wonderfully complemented the ending montage. Power Book 3. Raising Kanan's final season is already halfway over, and the next episode will premiere in 2 weeks. Power Book 3, Raising Kanan, Season 5, Episode 6, will likely become the turning point where every major alliance begins to fall apart. The strongest storyline heading into Power Book 3, Raising Kanan, Season 5, Episode 6, is Kanan's growing loyalty to Breeze instead of his mother, Rak. While this has not been confirmed for Episode 6, it's heavily supported by the official Season 5 trailer and the season's premise. Since the beginning of the series, Rak has tried to protect Kanan while also manipulating his life. Their relationship reached a breaking point after the Season 4 finale, and Season 5 opens with even deeper emotional consequences following Lulu's death. Showrunner Sasha Penn has said that Lu's death was designed to remove the family's moral center and intensify the conflict between Kanan and Rak. Unlike Rak, Breeze treats Kanan as someone capable of leading rather than someone who needs to be controlled. The official Season 5 trailer emphasizes Kanan's partnership with Breeze, describing it as the alliance that launches his rise in the Queen's drug game and sets up a major reckoning. If Episode 6 follows that trajectory, Kanan may make a decisive choice to stand with Breeze on a major business move, even if it directly undermines Rake's plans. A likely scenario is that Rake asks Kanan to abandon Breeze or support the Thomas family. Instead, Kanan could reject her request and publicly back Breeze's operation. Such a decision would signal that Kanan no longer sees himself as Rak's son first. He sees himself as an independent drug boss. This would also align with Mackay Curtis's comments that Season 5 is about Kanan fully becoming the ruthless figure fans know from the original Power, with his conflict with Rak driving that transformation. Kanan has become more ruthless than ever after Lu's death. Instead of following Rak's rules, he'll continue building his own empire with Breeze. Their growing partnership should make Kanan realize he no longer needs his mother's protection. Meanwhile, Rak will discover that controlling Kanan is becoming impossible. Rather than convincing him to return home, she'll probably begin treating him like a rival. Unique is also expected to make another aggressive move. His return has already shifted the balance of power, and Episode 6 could show him manipulating both Kanan and Rak while quietly rebuilding his own organization. Marvin may find himself caught between loyalty to his sister and protecting Kanan, creating another emotional conflict within the Thomas family. One of the biggest storylines heading into Power Book 3, Raising Kanan, Season 5, Episode 6, Dark Matter, is whether Unique will fully reassert himself in the Queen's drug war. While there is no official confirmation that Episode 6 features a new war started by Unique, the season has consistently positioned him as a major threat seeking to reclaim his former power. The Season 5 premiere establishes that Unique is determined to regain his foothold in Queens after losing control of his organization. At the same time, Kanan and Breeze are expanding their own drug operation, creating a volatile power struggle among the city's biggest players. As Kanan and Breeze grow stronger, Unique has every reason to strike before they become impossible to stop. Episode 6, titled Dark Matter, arrives late in the final season, making it a logical point for the conflict to escalate. With only a handful of episodes remaining, the series is expected to move its rival factions toward direct confrontation. One of the most significant developments in Power Book 3, Raising Kanan Season 5, is the arrival of Breeze, portrayed by Shameik Moore. While there is no official confirmation that Episode 6, Dark Matter, features Breeze officially taking over as the top leader, the final season has clearly positioned him as Kanan's mentor and one of the most influential new Power players. The Season 5 premiere introduces Breeze as a charismatic and strategic figure whose partnership with Kanan accelerates Kanan's transformation into the ruthless drug kingpin seen in the original Power. Mackay Curtis has explained that the final season focuses on Kanan becoming the version of the character fans already know, with Breeze playing a key role in that evolution. Unlike Rak, who has always tried to control Kanan through family loyalty, Breeze encourages him to think independently and build power through calculated decisions. Episode 6 comes late in the final season, making it a logical point for Breeze's influence to surpass everyone else's. As Kanan grows more confident, he may begin relying on Breeze's judgment instead of Rak's experience. A likely scenario is that Breeze masterminds a successful operation against a rival organization while Kanan follows his lead. Such a victory would establish Breeze as the strategic force behind their expanding empire. Official previews for the final season emphasize that Rock and Marvin are trying to rebuild their own organization while Kanan pursues his future with Breeze. That creates competing centers of power, making a direct clash increasingly likely. If Breeze consistently outmaneuvers Rock, Kanan may conclude that his future belongs with Breeze rather than the Thomas family. One of the biggest questions heading into Power Book 3, Raising Kanan Season 5 Episode 6, Dark Matter, is how far Rock is willing to go to regain control after losing both her influence over Kanan and her family's stability. While there is no official confirmation of her exact actions in Episode 6, recent episodes and the official Season 5 trailer point toward Rock making increasingly desperate and dangerous choices. The Season 5 premiere left Rock dealing with the devastating fallout from Lulu's death, a tragedy that shattered the Thomas family's unity. Showrunner Sasha Penn explained that Lou's death removed the family's heart and conscience, leaving Rack without the person who often balanced her decisions. At the same time, Kanan is becoming more independent through his partnership with Breeze, creating the greatest challenge Rack has ever faced as both a mother and a drug queenpin. Episode 6 arrives during the latter half of the final season, when the conflict between Rack and Kanan is expected to intensify. According to the official episode listing, the struggle involving Rack, Kanan, Breeze, and Stefano continues to escalate, suggesting that Rack will be forced into increasingly high-risk decisions. If Kanan refuses to return to her side, Rock may conclude that she must protect her organization before protecting her family. One possible scenario is that Rock authorizes a move against Kanan's growing operation, not necessarily because she wants to harm her son, but because she believes Breeze and Kanan's alliance threatens everything she has built. Another possibility is that Rack forms an uneasy alliance with one of her former rivals to stop Kanan and Breeze before they become too powerful. Either decision would represent one of the boldest gambles of her career and could permanently destroy any chance of repairing her relationship with Kanan.